The incessant drip, drip, drip of water guides me forward through the darkness. It's nice that you can kind of hear it in the music. The stench of damp and decay fills my nostrils as I sink deeper into the corridors of the catacombs. The pitch-black path is long and winding, and the only sound I can hear is the tap of my boots on the wet stone. Eventually, I see candlelight flickering ahead, and it would appear that I finally found life. Well, kind of. I remember to look for the third door on the left, just as Ezra has instructed, but as I approach, I find it wide open. Ooh, very nice room. Of all the golden stuff, really looks like Finn as well, with the darkness, golden contrast. I peek inside, and the stark contrast between the literal tomb outside and what I find in what is most definitely Finn's quarters is astounding. Before I get the chance to take in the view, a cool breeze brushes past me, ruffling my hair and sending goose flesh prickling across my skin. Who's that? A small, darkly clad girl appears before me in the flesh, her eyes the brightest crimson as they bore into me. She stands with her head tilted and a toothy grin crossing dark lips. Are you lost, human? She stares me down, wide-eyed and quite clearly trying to intimidate me, but she seems playful. I'm here to see Finn. She relaxes at the sound of his name, and a striking gaze sweeps over me like a caress. She shrugs, pursing her lips. Ah, so you're the one who won't shut up about, huh? Well, you do smell good, I think. Smell good? Is Finn here? She licks a fang, and I notice how similar some of her more human quirks are to his. She's far less poised than him, but I almost feel a little like that maybe on purpose. I'm in Finn's territory here, neutral territory, so I quell the desire to be defensive, even though her eyes are the color of a creature who drinks human blood. I wonder how or what they drink as blood. He's somewhere, here, around, doing stuff. Helpful. Her smile widens and she turns to poke at a crystal decanter of whiskey that sits nestled in the corner of one of his many bookcases. Are you part of the clan? A quick nod, almost too quick to catch. I am. She pours the rich amber liquid into a glass, swirls it, sniffs it with a dramatic grimace, and sets it aside, untouched. Her nose is still crinkled and barely disguised disgust. Disguised disgust is a nice combination. When she looks at me again. I wish that thing you're looking for would stop killing hunters, you know, because that means that more of your type will come. Then more enforcers, which is the last thing we need in this city town. I hear footsteps, loud ones that echo off the stone walk in the hallway. Oh, there he is. I mean, he's really hot, and I like how he looks. It's kind of fun that he always has the same quite big front window in his clothes. Even I suspect he knows I was here, but his shock is charming nonetheless. He looks at the girl, who throws him a decidedly wicked, wolfish grin. The picture of innocence.
Raven, are you being nice?
The girl, Raven, shrugs, sidling up to him and resting her head on his shoulder. She rolls her eyes hard enough that I'm surprised they don't fall back into her skull. Yes, Dad. Finn's face dropped, his eyes narrowed. I get the impression that if he could blush, his cheeks would be the prettiest shade of pink. I stifle a laugh, and with obvious delight, Raven notices. Raven. She laughs, the sound loud and obnoxious, but somehow still charming. She solves him playfully, but Finn remains stern. Are you going to introduce me to your friend? The suggestive waggle of her eyebrows doesn't go unnoticed, and Finn sighs heavily, offering me an apologetic smile. Ethan, this is Raven. I'm his kid. There's a low, exasperated rumble of a warning in Finn's throat, and I find myself enjoying the way he bristles in her presence. Finn throws her a deaf glare, and she proceeds to look guilty, but just a little. He raises a single dark brow at her, and after a quiet scoff, she enthusiastically steps forward and offers me her hand. It's really nice to meet you, Ethan. This guy hasn't stopped gushing about you, so thanks for giving him something new to mope over.
I do not mope.
This gives me many Fenris vibes. Raven rolls her eyes, and I finally take her hand. Her grip is firm, and I wonder if she might be trying to unnerve me when his startling eyes widen exponentially. Hurt him, and I'll eat you. Got it? I open my mouth to respond, but before I get the chance, she's laughing again. He looks mortified, and he carefully pries her hand from mine and ushers her toward the door. It's time for you to go, I think. Raven pouts, raising both of her hands in defense. I was joking, obviously. I like him already. She offers me a little wave and rises onto her tiptoes to press a kiss to Finn's cheek. He looks at her, unabashed fondness, a small smile creeping onto his lips. Go. Say hello to Lux for me and be good. He runs his hand. Why do I always confuse those? Should read more carefully. He runs his hand over her shorn scalp, and she sweats at him playfully, scoffing much like a teenager would at an embarrassing parent. I'll do more than say hello. Bye, Ethan. He gives another disapproving rumble, and Finn almost looks like he wants to chase her to administer another pep talk, but he stops himself. And with that, she's gone, the door slamming loudly and shaking in its frame. Finn groans, running an iron hand over his face as he walks to grab the whiskey Raven had poured him. She's interesting, He sips his drink.
She's a pain in the ass is what she is. But I suppose she's my pain in the ass.
Yeah, I guess that's what children are.
I sired her, so she's my responsibility. She jokes about me being her father, but I suppose I am, in a way.
He takes a small sip of whiskey, savoring the taste for a moment before he speaks. Though, I prefer brother. Father just makes me sound so... old? His laugh is charming. Yes, old. She tends to look after me much more than I look after her. She's a good kid. I'd be lost without her. I nod, observing him quietly as he sets down his glass. Sire bonds are powerful, and it's interesting to observe such a casual, healthy dynamic. Did you choose to turn her? He frowns, shaking his head. Well, no, not exactly.
It's complicated, but I made a choice that I'll have to live with forever. Literally.
True.
I'd seen too many die at the hand of my sire, and something about her struck me. He planned to leave her for dead, but I couldn't let that happen.
He smiles, and it's painfully earnest.
We're kindred spirits, I guess. As much as I have regret for cursing her with immortality, she's the closest thing I have to a family. Now, what brings you to my neck of the underworld?
You invited us a few episodes ago. He leans back against his desk. I need you. He raises his scared brow, his dark hair falling in his face as he turns to set aside his drink. You do, hmm? His smile has me rolling my eyes, and I quickly try to distract myself. Let me rephrase that. I need your help. I have a plan, and I think you may be of use. He laughs, a raspy chuckle.
I'm all yours, Hunter. Do
Ooh.
with me as you please.
Ooh.
Just tell me where and when.
I will come back to that. I clear my throat, the double entendre making my skin feel hot. He smiles, and I know the bastard can hear the unsteady flutter of my pulse. Anyway, Piper and I are going to attempt to break into the dungeons beneath HQ. His pointy ears flicker, almost flattening against his head before they put themselves to rights. He can't seem to mask his surprise, nor his apparent interest. The dungeons, hmm? He whistles, scuffing his boots against the stone floor.
I can help you, but I may have a favor of my own to ask you. If you're bold enough to venture down there.
I narrow my eyes at him, contemplating if I want to tangle myself into yet another web. What is it? He pushes away from the desk, standing tall.
An important member of my clan has gone missing, and I'm positive that they have him. As I'm sure you know, any trust for the enforcers is wavering. I want my friend back. He's done nothing to warrant being thrown in a dungeon.
His hands ball into fists at his sides, his prosthetic flaring brightly before it fades into its usual dormant, dull glow. How do you know they have him?
I don't. They have an excellent defense system that prevents any of us from detecting him, no matter how close we manage to get. He would not just abandon us. He's either detained or dead. And if it's the latter, I just want to know.
You're sure he wouldn't just leave? Your clan isn't like others, maybe he wanted to change? He looks frustrated. He runs his fingers through his hair, leaving it messy. I mean, it already looks pretty messy, but also that's looked nice.
Fiero wouldn't just leave. I know he wouldn't. I trust him more than anyone else in my clan, even Raven. We both suffered at the hands of Levi for centuries. We were healing from that together. He was the only friend I had when I was with Levi, and he saved me more than once. I owe him this. If he's ash and bone in a forest somewhere, then so be it. But if he's okay, then I must save him. The only family creatures like me have are the ones that you find, so I intend to keep them safe as long as I can.
The information on Finn's sire spares outside of the fact that he was notorious and cruel, and I wonder how such a seemingly kind man could have followed him for that long. Call it morbid curiosity. Do you mind talking about him, about Levi? Finn grimaces, folding his arms across his broad chest. His posture loses its usual confidence.
I suppose.
I take a seat upon his bed as he pulls out his desk chair. The first thing I can think of to ask him is loaded, but I need to understand. Why did you stay with him for so long? He looks at me wide-eyed for a beat before he manages to formulate a response.
I don't know if I can answer that. I still truly do not know. He was good at making sure you had nothing left to go home to.
Aww.
So he was all that I had. I'm not the kind of man who does well with loneliness.
Aww. A wry smile crosses his lips, but Finn looks just impossibly sad. What did he take from you? We are quite direct. He swallowed thickly, casting his gaze to the side.
Everything. He took my fiancé, killed him right in front of me before he took my own life.
Oh.
I was an orphan, and I didn't exactly have many friends.
I hope you can hug him or something.
Gabriel was truly all I had. He destroyed our home, all of our memories, even took my name from me. He took it all, and he did everything to make sure that I needed him. I followed him like a lost puppy for centuries.
Did you ever try to escape when you found the others? He nods.
Many times. I had a few periods of freedom, but he always found me. He tended to collect vampires with abilities like Fiero and myself, maybe to make up for the fact that, aside from his advanced age, he was truly unremarkable.
I wonder what abilities they have. If like the hearing thoughts thing is specifically Finn? And if so, what can Fiero do? I would love to say something a bit more empathic. I don't know. And now, he's dead and you're free.
You seem to be managing well for someone who endured all of that. Oh, I don't like that. That sounds so... I don't know, dismissive? I would love to say something different than that. He sighs, rubbing the back of his neck with his iron hand.
I'm trying to shape myself into the man I always wanted to be. Before the whole being undead thing. I try not to dwell on things that happened to me. I was bitter for long enough.
Understandable.
But I cannot change any of it. All I can do is be the opposite of what he wanted me to be.
Out of spite. I smile as I observe him. I register how comfortable I feel in his home. The thought of stepping into the den of a clan before all this would have set me on edge. But now... You're doing a great job, Finn. His mouth curls into an earnest grin. Thank you, Ethan. I give you permission to kick my ass if I ever dare to step out of line. Duly noted. Why do you think they would take Fiero specifically, if you're so sure he's innocent? He shrugs, clearly quite confident in his theory. Because he's valuable. He's an empath, a powerful one. If he saw something he wasn't supposed to, or if they just managed to overpower him and get him alone. I rarely let my clan members patrol by themselves, regardless of our supposedly stable relationship with the enforcers on this town. But I was stupid, and Fiero is a good sweet talker. He sends someone in distress in the woods, so I allowed it. Therefore, if anything has happened to him, it's my fault. Oh, I don't think so. Finn prides himself on being the opposite of his sire, and I can see that this is eating away at him. You can't place the blame on yourself. You didn't know. Plus, if he is as valuable as you say he is... His eyes light up when they meet mine, his fingers twitching up on the surface of the desk. Then they could be using him, so he's still alive. I smile in return, tilting my head this way and that. Well, ish. He laughs, and I can't help but join him. So you'll check for me? I nod. I will. So, what is it that you'd like me to do, exactly? Well, no one knows this town quite as well as you. I was hoping you'd have some, I don't know, secret little passageway tucked away for me to use. There are wards and other nasty little tricks in place to stop people like you, like us, getting in. I'll worry about that. Now, about that passageway. His grin is wicked, and I think I have my answer. I'm your guy. Just say when, and I'll be there. If you need anything else, just come running. I bid Finn farewell, and now I only need to find one more friend. I saved the most stubborn till last. Who is that? Oh, what do we want from Alkar? Alkar's waiting for me when I return to the wharf. It doesn't surprise me anymore when I catch his eye across the tavern where he's been nursing a mug of ale, clearly pouting. If the pout disappears when he sees me surely counts for something, though the way his lips thin instantly makes me think perhaps not. He gets up, moving slow and deliberate, and I remain by the door for a moment, wondering if, hilariously, he's somehow trying to not scare me.
Took you long enough. Was wondering if the bad shit got to you.
Alkar grins suddenly, eyes gleaming and brow cocked. Cocked. I hope all those wrong words just amuse you. Or maybe the vampire got you, huh? Do you need something? Yes, actually. Alkar rubs at the back of his neck and gives me a critical once-over, frown deepening. Then he glances behind his shoulder at the sparsely populated tavern. The 3 or 4 people lounging about seem deeply engaged with their own conversation, but I nod in understanding. My room? That sounds wrong. Alkar barks a short, scornful laugh.
So your superior can come knocking on the door and catch us? Not a chance.
Are you saying I'm trying to ambush you? He frowns at me, his tail flicking and then going still. His voice is low and steady when he answers. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm not keen on taking chances right now. Tell me you agree. As much as I loathe to abandon the promise of a horizontal, not a bare rock surface to lie down, close my eyes and try to process the day, he's right. And if Alkar has any more information, any more at all, I want to hear it. I need to hear it. Alright then. Where? The woods. The deep dark woods where I stumbled across a nasty youngling no more than a day ago? Alkar rolls his eyes.
Would you prefer the graveyard where those damn Woodridge twins can probably hear every word we say? Not all of the woods are dangerous. I would know. I live there. Now, I ask that you trust me.
I love that it starts with everyone saying trust no one, and then everyone is like, including ourselves, like, oh, trust us. I incline my head in understanding and step aside, inviting him to take his leave through the door first. Alkar doesn't move immediately. He stays where he is, his arms crossed, and regards me with a strange expression. It's not unreadable, but almost as though he doesn't quite know what expression he should be making. Is something the matter? You're one trusting motherfucker, aren't you? I scowl at him. You and your friends in this lovely town aren't giving me a lot of choices. I expect another eye roll, a scoff, a dismissive wave. Instead, Alkar inclines his head. There's something almost like guilt in his grimace. Let's go. Lunaris is a cold and lonely shell of its daylight form tonight, and I have to almost run to keep up with how quickly, though sure-footedly, Alkar moves through back alleys. The chill sinks into my bones, and unbidden, I wish I wasn't here. I wish I wasn't following a half-werewolf into the dark unknown towards more mystery. Omen's confession is still ringing in my ears, as do so many other things. Did you know that Omen is... Alkar shakes his head, his wolf eyes flattening. Not here.